Yes. Here we go. Oh, we've got a time. Hello and welcome to the Green Left Supporter Drive live stream. Today we're going to be powering rebellion by talking to a bunch of incredible activists, unionists and campaigners around the country who want to change the world and win a hopeful and more sustainable and socially just future. Thanks for joining us. We're broadcasting this live stream from the stolen land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. This always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Sovereignty was never ceded. And we're going to be speaking to people from all across the continent today, so we'll keep in mind that this country was built on the genocide, occupation and our First Peoples, and Green Left stands with campaigns for justice, sovereignty, land rights and opposing deaths in custody. So my name is Isaac Nellist. I'm a Green Left journalist and I'll be your host for the live stream today. I've been involved with Green Left for about 4 years now, including writing articles, helping out with the production of the physical newspaper copy, and also involved in the podcasting and the Green Left show here on YouTube. So thanks everyone for joining us today. We've got a really amazing lineup of guests who are going to be joining, including activists involved in Palestine solidarity, climate campaigning, journalists, unionists, student activists, and even some international guests. We've also got a few pre-recorded messages which we might be able to get to as well. A big shout out to all the in-person gatherings that are being held right across the country. So we've got in-person gatherings in Naarm, Melbourne, Nipaluna, Hobart, Magangin, Brisbane, Cornayota, Adelaide, Gimoy, Cairns, Boorloo, Perth, I believe in Newcastle, and also here in Gadigal, Sydney. So we're very excited, hopefully to be able to zoom into some of those gatherings and have a chat to some of you who are there as well. And thanks for joining us in person, and hello to everyone who's also just joining on the live stream online as well. So this is part of Green Left's 2025 supporter drive, and we're asking everyone to sign up to become a Green Left supporter. It's the best way to kind of both support this project, keep it going, and to show that you support left activist media in this country. And plans, it's only $10 a month to sign up to get the physical edition of Green Left and the digital edition sent to your door. And it's very easy to sign up if you just head to greenleft.org.au/support. You can do it there. Alternatively, if you're not as tech-minded, you can call. We've got a free call number, 1-800-634-206, and you can speak to someone in person, and they can sign you up as well. So that's 1-800-634-206, and we'll put those links and that phone number in the live stream chat as well. So it's important that we want people to become supporters, because it's the best way to help us continue doing this work, highlighting activist voices, opposing war and genocide, and building a resistance to capitalism, as well as revealing the hypocrisy of the corporate and mainstream media. I think it's been revealed, for a lot of people who are tuning into this will know, that the genocide in Gaza has revealed the corporate media and even the ABC, the lengths that they'll go to either hide the truth or straight up lie about what's happening in the world to suit the agenda of the powerful. And we desperately need alternative media like Green Left. And we are proudly people powered. We don't take any corporate advertisements or sponsorships, so we rely entirely on your generous support to help us continue. So make sure to head to greenleft.org.au/support. So our first guest is a housing activist who's involved in the campaigns here in Gadigal country to stop the demolition of public housing sites and to, put some pressure on the government to actually build more public housing, because that's what we desperately need in this housing crisis. And we're very lucky to be joined in person by our first guest. Please welcome Karen Brown. Hi, Karen. How are you going?
Good, Isaac. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining.
I'm glad you could be here with me in person. A lot of people are going to be talking to you via Zoom, so it's nice to have you face to face. It's a bit more fun. So I guess what we wanted to ask is how Green Left has helped in this very kind of difficult campaign to stop governments from, demolishing this vital public housing and also handing all this public land over to developers for profits.
Well, in the first place, Green Left will print our stories. As a public housing tenant, the mainstream media is not going to take any notice of me whatsoever. So Green Left will print our stories about what is essentially a war on public housing and a war on the poor, because they're the people who live in public housing, if there is any. And yep, we just want to keep getting it out there, letting people know what the government is doing, selling off everything. And Green Left is one way we can do that. It's one of the few ways we can do that.
What's your experience been dealing with the kind of mainstream media throughout this campaign as well? What kind of attention do they give you? Is it contingent on how you speak to them? Like, what's the approach been like from the mainstream?
Okay, there are some friendly folk, but their interest is very short-lived. So it's like they're doing housing this week, but they'll be on to something else the next week. And there are some, to be frank, I just avoid because I don't trust them. They like to do horror stories about public housing, which the government just uses as a stick to hit us with, as a reason to get rid of public housing. But unfortunately, the people who live in public housing still need somewhere to live, and so do the 60-something thousand people on the waiting list need somewhere to live. And yep, they just have to stop selling it, really. We just have to keep saying it over and over again. Don't sell it, don't demolish it, buy more, build more. And yeah,
it's all around the country as well. I mean, you're particularly involved in saving the Waterloo estate here in Sydney, but also other public housing estates in Sydney. But it's also happening in Victoria. It's happening across the country where public housing is being attacked. And we found, a lot of the mainstream media coverage only comes in at the end of the campaign when it's been built, and Green Left's trying to be there, building it up from the starting point.
Yep, that's exactly right. They've been there from the beginning, and you're right, the mainstream media will come along and maybe do like a bit of a tearjerker story about people having to move out of their homes or something, but that's like 5 minutes before the bulldozers move in. We'd like to not get to that point. And yeah, so we need Green Left and alternative media to put that message out there and get some support to put pressure on the government to stop doing what they're doing, to fund public housing instead of treating it as a piggy bank, which is what they're doing.
Yeah, 100%. Well, people can find out more about these campaigns through Action for Public Housing on social media, and also in the pages of Green Left as well. But thanks very much, Karen, for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you on the streets.
Yep.
Thanks, Karen.
Thanks.
So I think now we're going to cross to our first in-person gathering. So there's a bunch of these taking place across the country, and it's great to see that people are gathering together to support Green Left. So I'll just check we've got that lining up coming in. We're going to go to the gathering in Gadigal Country, Sydney, where I believe there's some banner painting and some other activities going on, if we can tune into Sydney. In the meantime, make sure you head to greenleft.org.au/support if you haven't done already. And we'll give a bit of a sense of how many supporters we've gotten from this live stream later on. I'll just read out, we've got this message of support from musician and writer Matt Ward. So Matt does the regular music columns, which you see in Green Left every month, recommending the 10 best new protest albums of the month. Some people think that protest music is dying out, but he's proved that's wrong. And Matt says, if you're interested in seeking out the truth, you'll consume the news from as many different sources as possible. There's a huge difference in the way the news is reported by the corporate media and the non-corporate media. He said, all news is biased. If you're reading only the corporate media or reading only the non-corporate media, you're missing half the story. That's why it's so important to support media sources such as Green Left. So a big thank you to Matt Ward, and definitely check out his monthly column, which recommends all the music. And he's also got a Spotify playlist, which is linked at the bottom of those articles, where you can actually listen to all of these artists. So now we're tuning into the Sydney meeting. So I'd just like to say hello to everyone down in Sydney at the Resistance Centre. Hello, I think you're on mute, so if you could just unmute and we could say hello. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Could you give us a sense of what you're up to? I see a banner being painted in the background there.
Yes, we're painting a couple of banners here in Gadigal Country Office Resistance Centre. We've got Feed Gaza, Sanction Israel, and we've also got a High Schoolers for Palestine. So we're gonna get these done for the National Day of Action, August 24. So we've got really awesome new banners, and we're building this really important rally for Palestine. So yeah, thanks Green Left for always advertising all of the important national days of action for Palestine, or the feminist days of action, whatever they are, housing day of action. So yeah, thanks heaps Green Left.
Awesome, and thanks to everyone in the Resistance Centre for tuning in today, and we're looking forward to also talking to everyone who's tuning in other cities. So thanks very much, and we'll see you soon. I'd like to bring in our next guest, who is someone who's been writing for Green Left from the start and was actually involved in helping set up Green Left as a project. And you know, you can find his articles still every week. Please welcome Green Left journalist Peter Boyle. Welcome, Peter.
Hi, yeah, Zach.
Good.
Here we go.
Thank you. I'd just like to, I guess, start with a question about, you know, you're involved in the setup of Green Left. Why was Green Left established? What was the kind of thinking about setting up this publication?
Well, a big clue is in the name, Green Left, and I think it's quite an incredible thing. 1991, you know, that's a long time ago, and we had this very clear idea that if there's going to be any way forward, you know, for some progressive change in the world, the green side of politics and the left side of politics needs to come together. And I think that's absolutely clearly the truth today. And if anything has underlined this, it's the struggle to tackle climate change. I think Green Left was very early, one of the first to really put this question of the existential challenge that was climate change, put it on the map. It was from the very beginning. So I think that it also goes to the character of the project. It's not just a media project. It's a media project that is not only giving, you know, a voice to the people who are not given a voice in mainstream media, but it's a project committed to building up the forces that are needed if we're going to have change, not just change for the better, but change, actual system change. You know, and I think many people understand this so clearly today. I mean, we are not going to get a solution to the climate, to social justice, to a whole lot of questions if you don't change the system, because the billionaire class is in the way, the huge corporations are absolutely in the way, and that's just so much clearer to people today. But we were out there in 1991 putting it forward. I mean, there's a few things that we were a little bit ahead of the game. And I want to mention another one because it's connected to what we're doing today. I think we were ahead of the game on this whole question of the digitalization of media.
Yeah.
From day one, every single article that was put on Green Left was put up online for free. Now,
Wow.
you know, we were ahead of the game. I mean, we had more content for a while online than other media outlets. Now, of course, the mainstream media outlets have been putting on paywalls. They've been hiding their stuff. We still put everything for free. Anyone can see anything. So what does this mean for the business model, so to speak? And we've been trying to negotiate this shift over from the concept of, you know, buying subscriptions, which is a traditional way. I guess we used to try and get some income in, to popularizing the idea of supporterships. And that's what today is all about. We need supporters for this people-powered project to keep going.
Yeah, a lot of people think like, yeah, I support Green Left in a sense. But what do you think is the difference between like being a subscriber or a supporter? There's all these different terms. Why would you encourage people to sign up on as a paid up financial supporter? What difference does that make?
Well, it's a material difference, isn't it? I mean, we've been going all this time with no corporate sponsorship, you know, without advertising, you know, like we need some money to keep going. So that's one. But two, when you become a supporter, you don't just give us money. You actually are part of a process of actually getting involved in other ways in Green Left. Now, Green Left gets so many volunteers from all around the world reporting and giving stories that you won't see anywhere else. There are people contributing their photography, their videos, their video footage. There are many, many ways that you can actually become involved in Green Left, and supportership's just part of it.
Yeah, 100%. We always encourage people to not just read Green Left, not just, you know, donate or become a supporter, but also to contribute writing, photos, as you said. And I think it's really important. And thanks for kind of outlining, you know, it's a very different media environment in 2025 than it was in 1991, but still some of the same pressing issues that Green Left's highlighting. So thanks, Peter, for coming along. No worries. See you soon, Peter. Okay, our next guest is another journalist who's been involved in campaigns, you know, for a long time as an independent investigative journalist and activist. I think that idea of the activist journalist is something that is really important in this discussion. She's also was a former professor of journalism with a history of reporting on critical stories that are often ignored by the mainstream. So I'd like to welcome onto the broadcast Wendy Bacon. Just signing in now on the Zoom link. Hi, Wendy. How are you going?
Good, thanks. Hi, how are you? Look, I'm terribly sorry about my time. So literally, at some point, I will have to stop. But anyway, let's get going. Sorry.
Make it quick. We'll make it quick. I guess I just wanted to start by asking, in the current media landscape that we're in, why is it so important to have reporting not just from journalists, but from activists who are also journalists?
Well, I think, first of all, I would say that most journalism today is in fact activist. You only have to go and pick up a News Corp publication such as the Australian today and see something that is totally opinionated, often based on falsehoods, sometimes based on fact, but often not. And so, you know, I think we're gone from the days when we really sort of need to debate too much about what is journalism and what is activism. I think it is really important, however, to challenge those mainstream frameworks. I mean, all journalism is underpinned by frameworks and value systems. And what we're doing when we come from the left, we do have a different analysis, and that does underpin our journalism. And I do think it's critically important, obviously, not only to have loud voices out there and opinion out there, banners and everything. I'm totally behind it. But I think also we really do need facts as well. We need people to research things and see what's important from a progressive point of view, from a left-wing point of view. I mean, you don't see the world there's so much that is hidden in the mainstream media, and our job, I think, and obviously Green Left contributes to that, is to dig out those stories, but they still do require digging.
Yeah, definitely. And I know you've got to head off, Wendy, so I'll let you go, but thank you very much for your time today and all your hard work.
Oh, is that all you want me to say?
Is there anything as a
Yeah, well, look, I would like to say a couple of other things. Look, first of all, I think that and Green Left is obviously a left-wing newspaper. However, I just thought I'd say that when I came to look back on the issue of deaths in custody, and this is an issue that's been going on since colonisation, but a highlight was put on it in the 1990s, which led to the Royal Commission into deaths in custody. And, you know, at one point, I really wanted to go back and look at what was the early history of the grassroots movements as it built towards the announcement of the Royal Commission. And the only place I could find this was in the archives of Green Left. And I think one of the really important things that Green Left does is to document the struggle. You know, and Tribune, actually, the Communist Party newspaper, when I was younger, in the 60s and 70s, that plays that role too. Still today, we can go back and look at those archives. So that, you know, even the small stories are important. And I also like, one thing I like about Green Left is its internationalist perspective, and not just from a US alliance point of view. So yeah, I very much value Green Left, and I hope it continues for many more years. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wendy. We really appreciate your time today and all your comments. And definitely people should check out all of Wendy's writing online in various places, including Michael West, including Green Left as well. But thanks for your time, Wendy, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Wendy. So our next guest is a Kurdish community activist and a spokesperson of the Australian Kurdish Federation. I think Green Left has a bit of a history of reporting on the Kurdish struggle, in particular following the Rojava Revolution in 2012. So I'd like to welcome Baran Sogat onto the broadcast. Hey, Baran, how are you going?
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. Great. Thanks for joining us. I guess I wanted to ask you what this reporting on the Kurdish struggle that Green Left has a history of doing, particularly following the Rojava Revolution. What does that reporting mean for the Kurdish community?
Oh, look, for the Kurdish community, our struggle doesn't just start in Rojava, unfortunately. We go way back during the Lausanne Treaty. I'm sorry, I'm just at a train station because I was at a Druze protest and Peter was there as well. We were showing solidarity on behalf of the Kurdish community. But going back to your question, in Rojava, for example, as you know, and many members, if they don't know, there was an ISIS attack in Syria and Iraq. And one of the only forces down there was the only Kurdish women's fighting group, known as the YPJ, where they fought against ISIS and liberated the city. And when they liberated the city, they didn't do this under the name of just Kurdish. They did it under the name of humanity. And when they liberated those cities back from the ISIS terrorists, they went for an ideology called confederalism, where Mr. Öcalan, the Kurdish leader, has mentioned so many times to the Kurdish people, because Kurdish people don't have a state. And the Kurdish people believe in that it's not just about having a state, it's about having a state where everyone is represented. And the Rojava model is an example of this, where you got the council. You don't have a leader, you don't have one party, you have a council of many minorities and ethnic groups and religious groups, where they select their co-chair. The current co-chair is one Kurdish and one Arab at the moment, one male, one female. And you have a council of Turkmens, Yazidis, Armenians, Alawites, Sunnis, and Arabs, and other religious sectors, where they come together and they go out to their own community thinking about how could we help ourselves, how could we be a voice for ourselves, and they come back and report it to the council, and the Rojava administration works on this. But unfortunately, the Rojava administration had faced many attacks from Turkey, Erdogan regime, and the current SNA, Syrian National Army, backed by Turkey, and where Turkey has taken Afrin, the east part of Rojava, under its own occupation, where the city's majority was 90% Kurdish. Now you got up to 5% Kurdish, where you cannot speak your Kurdish language. Other religious groups don't have freedom in there currently, so they're forwarding an ISIS ideology into those cities. Unfortunately, that wasn't just the only attack that happened, but with the current regime change, the HTS, known as al-Shah Jolani, had now came into power, where the Syrian people were hoping that new democratic peace change will happen in the region. But unfortunately, they were faced with the genocides against the Alawites, the Druzes, and now there's a threat towards Rojava. The people in Rojava had a conference in the Hasaka city a couple of days ago, where the Green Left Weekly had also published this, as well as publishing all the other atrocities that Kurdish people face in their website. And we thanked Green Left Weekly and thank especially Peter for always connecting with the Kurdish community and reaching out, where they had a conference where the Kurds and other ethnic groups and religious groups had came together to declare a kind of like a declaration, sharing a declaration saying that Syria isn't just one party, one person, or one male. It is a country where everyone should be respected, where women should be respected. The new regime, HTS, mentioning that they will be more secular, being more pro-women, pro-multiculturalism, but we do not see this in practice. So the Rojava administration refuses this and says that if you don't become the democratic model that people in Syria want, then you leave us no choice to take our own steps. And this makes neighboring countries like Turkey very angry, because they don't want this example in Syria, because they're worried that the same thing will happen in their own countries. So with this current situation, we are worried about another attack could happen towards Rojava. But today, when I was at the Druze protest today, what I saw is unity. What I saw was support. We had many Druze community over there. There was a Christian as well as the Arab Alawite community over there. And they all had one message: unity, peace, and democracy. So we are faithful, we know. We believe in our own power. We don't think that this party or that party, that government should come save us. We believe in our people's struggle. We believe in, just like Green Left Weekly, we believe in grassroots democracy, just like Socialist Alliance. We start from the bottom, make our way up, not vice versa like other political parties in Australia. We believe in men and women being equal. We believe in LGBTQI plus communities' rights. We believe in other multicultural communities and ethnic groups should have a voice. And this is our struggle. This Rojava should be a model, not just in Syria, but should be a model international. And it is a model that works. People, let's say in the far right, usually say, oh, socialism, or this doesn't work, or grassroots democracy doesn't work. Well, we tell them, yes, it does. Look at Rojava. It's been working for 12 years. And it will continue to work. And it will be an inspiration to other neighboring countries and other neighboring regions.
Thanks, Veron. And I think we'll continue to keep reporting on this struggle as an inspiration, and to see, you know, how this develops as well over the years. And we really appreciate you giving your time today to Green Left. So thank you very much for joining us. We're going to move on. We've got some more guests in the waiting room now. So we'll move on to our next guest, which I think we're going to be zooming into another one of our in-person gatherings. This time it's the gathering in Naarm or Melbourne at the Resistance Centre, where we are joined by a few people there, a few activists, including Sue Bolton, who is a Socialist Alliance councillor on Marybeck Council. So yeah, it's great to say hello to Sue and to everyone at the Naarm gathering. Welcome, Sue. How are you going? I'll just give you a second for it to load. There we go.
Going?
Yes, it's good. Thanks. How are you?
Good. Bit cold.
You've got the keffiyeh there. That's keeping you warm. That's great. I guess I wanted to ask you, as a Socialist Alliance councillor. I mean, Socialist Alliance has been supporting Green Left since its launch in 1991. So that's nearly 35 years ago. And I think the support from Socialist Alliance comrades over the years has been a pretty fundamental to ensuring that Green Left has been able to survive as a non-for-profit people-powered publication, including, you know, a lot of fundraising efforts and creating content through writing and photography and things like that. But in addition to that, Green Left is always designed to be a broader paper, projecting the struggles for progressive movements, you know, in Australia and internationally. Another important thing is the regular column that the Socialist Alliance has in Green Left, the Our Common Cause column. But could you talk about, you know, what is the value of the Socialist Alliance places on Green Left, and why has so much effort been put in by the party to keep this media project going?
Well, I was around when Green Left started during the first Gulf War in 2001, and at the beginning of the war, the paper hadn't come out yet, and you did feel the absence of having a paper. We rapidly produced a broadsheet to put forward our views around the invasion of Iraq and calling for troops out and so forth. But we really felt the absence of a newspaper at that time. And of course, in those days, it was a print world. There was no real online world. And so, oh, sorry, not 2001, 1991, I mean, sorry. And fast forward today, while Green Left is now a multimedia project, it's not just a print project, it's multimedia project, but like it plays the role of putting forward analysis of what's happening politically. And that is really important given the fact that the ruling class tries to manufacture consent with the manipulation of people through the media, and you can see that really strongly with the whole with what happened to refugees, especially from 1999 or thereabouts, when Howard really started to crack down on refugees and asylum seekers and demonize them incredibly. And then the Labor Party fell behind that. And it was really important to strip back the lies and present an alternative. And that was really, really important to the movement. But in addition to that, Green Left is a way of communicating between states, between struggles, between different campaigns, because the media in Australia, and I imagine it's like this in other countries as well, is very parochial. In it's very state-based, like the mainstream media I'm talking about here is very state-based. It covers very little of what happens in regional areas, and yet there's a need for struggles to link up across state borders and between city and regional areas. Often you just have no idea of major issues happening in regional areas, let alone between countries. And, you know, probably one of the continents that has the least coverage in the mainstream media in Australia, all over the world probably, like especially in Western nations, is Africa. And the media even treats Africa as if it's a country when it's a continent made up of many, many different cultures and countries and so forth. And there's a total dearth of media coverage, and yet Australian mining companies are playing a major exploitative effort in Africa. And so, yeah, there's a lack of coverage and awareness of the role that Australian multinationals play in other countries. So there's a real need for a paper and a media like Green Left.
Yes, thanks so much, Sue. And important points raised about the international coverage. It's quite hard to find in mainstream. I was just wondering as well, since you're at the Resistance Centre, where there's an in-person gathering, what kind of stuff, activities are people up to? Is it watching the live stream?
Well, it's a combination of doing banner painting, watching the live stream, and contacting supporters about taking out Green Left supporterships.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Sue. And Thanks for joining us today. We'll move on to our next call.
No, thank you.
Okay, so our next guest is an activist who's been involved in the Palestine solidarity movement and has been around Green Left for a long time and has had a good relationship with the paper and is now involved in the Families for Palestine group in Gadigal country. So I'd like to welcome next onto the live stream Paz. Just give it a second. Just taking a second to load. While we wait for Paz to join, I'll just read. We've got a message of support from Anthony Lowenstein, who is an independent journalist and filmmaker and the author of The Palestine Laboratory. And Anthony said, in the age of pro-war propaganda and Israel's genocide in Gaza, we need credible and independent reporting and analysis. And Green Left has provided this for years, and I urge people to support its noble mission. So thanks to Anthony Lowenstein for that. And it looks like Paz is in the meeting with us now. So thanks for joining me, Paz.
Thanks, Isaac.
So you're a counsellor and an advocate for refugees, but also a big driving force of the Families for Palestine group, which has had a big impact here in Gadigal country. It's in particular putting pressure in Anthony Albanese's own electorate in Marrick. So I guess I wanted to ask you, obviously it's a very dark time in a lot of ways, just atrocities that are being committed by Israel against Palestinians over the past almost 2 years. I wanted to ask you, how does independent activist media like Green Left keep you hopeful in times like this?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. And just want to acknowledge that I'm dialing in from Gadigal land as well. And I think I've been a long time supporter of the Green Left, as have my parents. So I kind of grew up having the Green Left on the coffee table and just, in my parents' bedroom. So I think I just really wanted to mention that I've, just come from a family of very big, staunch supporters of the Green Left. But I think in terms of how it keeps us hopeful, I think the very fact that it is willing to report on, I guess, local. I mean, if I'm talking about just local events, which, when we were picketing outside of Albanese's office and before picketing, when we were meeting outside of Albanese's office, a bunch of mothers, nobody wanted to come and report on us. Nobody wanted to come and listen to what we were doing and why we were doing it. And the Green Left does exactly that. It reports on local grassroots events and movements who are joining the global solidarity for Palestine and all oppressed people. And so I think for me personally, having, a media outlet that is willing to listen to us and willing to report, and not just on Families for Palestine, but many, many other grassroots movements and groups who are doing excellent work in putting pressure on Albanese or their local MPs. I think that in itself gives us hope, knowing that there are media outlets that are willing to listen to us and willing to hear our side of the story and share that with the rest of the country. So I think, very big thanks to the Green Left for always being there for us and reaching out and asking how they can, amplify the work that we're doing to put pressure on the government.
Thank you so much, Paz, and we really appreciate all the work that you put into the Families for Palestine and
Thank you.
movement keeps going. And thanks for joining us today and giving us your support.
Thank you so much. Thanks again.
Thank you. So I'll move on to our next guest, but I'll just mention as well, if you haven't already and you're watching this, whether you're on the YouTube link or if you're in one of the in-person gatherings, if you haven't already signed up as a supporter, it's easy to do so. Just head to greenleft.org.au/support. And I'll get a number here. We've got quite a few supporters already signed up during this live stream, which is great news. If you don't have any, if you'd rather not do it on the online website, which is, only takes a minute or two, you can call 1-800-634-206 and someone in the Green Left office can help you out with that. So our next guest is a legendary unionist who's been a former national secretary of the construction CFMEU and has always been a strong supporter of Green Left as well. So welcome, Christy Kane. Hi, Chris.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hear you. How are you today?
Yeah, going okay, mate. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, thanks. I guess I just wanted to ask you, Christy, why do you think it's important for people to support activist media like Green Left?
Well, look, I've been around the trade union movement for 50 years, and in several unions. And even when we run our campaign up against the incumbents many years ago, I thought the Green Left played a real good role in producing stuff that was very true on how unions were, and look, the Green Left's been a major working class paper for working men and women, not just and the communities, not just here in Australia but around the world. You know, it's a paper that tells it how it is, and in every capacity. I've got to say, you know, congratulations. I think I don't know if it's 20 odd years, 25, 26 years of loyal service and commitment to working class struggles. And I salute them. And our team salutes them wherever I've been throughout the union movements. It's always been high praises in respect to what they've done. And I've got to say, you know, the executive or the team that's there now with Green Left, yourselves. I remember Dick Nichols. I'm not sure if Dick's still going. Hope he is. Hope he's well. Sue Bolton. You know, Sue's a Trojan horse. Always has been. And the whole, you know, the whole Sam Wainwright, all the people who've been involved, Pip, a lot of them. I just think it's a great team, and I congratulate you, and I hope you go well into the future.
Thanks for your kind words and support there, Christy. And that's going to obviously continue reporting on workers' struggles, both here and around the world, and trying to, you know, build a better world for all workers. So support.
Yeah. Oh, well, I hope to see you all at Palestine next week.
Yeah, that's the big one.
The rallies, yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, and good luck with your report there. Good on you.
Thank you very much. As Christy mentioned, it's important that everyone attend Palestine rallies. The National Day of Action is on August 24, and there's rallies taking place all over the country. I think it's more than 20 to 30 cities and small towns have already announced rallies, with more being announced every day. And you can find those details on our website, greenleft.org.au, and on social media and things like that as well. So thanks, Christy. We'll go to our next in-person gathering, which is up in the far north Queensland. We're going to go to Gimoy, Cairns, where you know, we're very jealous of their warm weather. Currently, it's been very cold and rainy in Gadigal country, Sydney. So it's a pleasure to be zooming up into, you know, what was once known as the Red North. Queensland's maybe not known as the most progressive state in kind of popular understanding, but it actually does have a very strong history of progressive movements. So we are just joining into Cairns right now. I'll just give it a second. People could obviously sign up greenleft.org.au/support if you want to be become a supporter and help us hit our goals today. I'd also just mention the biggest event that Green Left organizes every year is not this live stream, even though this has been a lot of fun. We actually have the Eco-Socialism Conference, which is coming up at the start of September, from September 5 to 7. This year's theme is Eco-Socialism, Not Barbarism. And the conference actually brings together a whole bunch of activists from all across the country, but also a whole great list of international guests who are attending, particularly from the Asia Pacific region. So I think one thing that the Eco-Socialism Conference has always prioritized is bringing together grassroots activists from the Asia Pacific. A lot of the time they can't, you know, easily attend kind of international conferences for a few reasons. First of all, grassroots activists don't often have the funds.
Right.
We actually have the Eco-Socialism Conference, which is
Sorry.
coming up
Got it.
at the start of September.
Am I there?
September 5 to 7.
Are we going to be able to hear if it's through your things?
Oh, yeah.
So maybe you could mute all across the country, but also. Hello? I think you just need to turn the audio off on your live stream. I think that's okay now. I can't hear. One thing that the Eco-Social.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Hey, Corinne, how are you?
I'm good, but it's not going the same time. Sorry. What's happening? Can you hear me?
Yes, that's okay. There's a bit of a delay between.
Okay, right. So we're not gonna. Okay. That is so strange. Okay, so we are in Geelong, Cairns, and there is 6 of us around.
Hey everyone.
So we just wanted to. I just wanted to say that I believe that it's really important to have an alternative media. I am a supporter of Green Left. However, I don't read it enough. I've just increased my support though, so I think I better get some value for my money and start checking it more regularly. But yes, it's really important to have the alternative. There's so many lies happening in being written in the mainstream media. You have to look on here. Sorry, guys. It's technology is really hard. I wanted to read something from Zef, who has been a supporter of Green Left, the paper version. So I'll quickly read that because it was a really good. They were unfortunately not able to be here now. Green Left is an alternative media that I've been reading since getting my first paper from Jonathan Strauss around 10 years ago. I met Jonathan at my university campus on a market day, handing out papers for a few dollars. We chatted and I learned about alternative media, activism, social and environmental justice. I've grown fond of the Green Left as I have learned the downfalls of the mainstream medias, their heavy influence and monopolies. I know a friend who graduated with a degree in journalism, ready to make a beautiful impact in the world, but by her own conscience, she couldn't work for the local papers. As they printed pieces that went against the truth, she'd strive to deliver to the people. I've learned the importance of alternative media, its fight to empower the people. I should also mention that it's thanks to these efforts that I became a person involved with my community, truly empowered me to have done all the activism I've been a part of and continue to. Without all the alternative voices I've been able to hear under the roar of the mainstream, I wouldn't be who I am today. So I think that's a really good witness statement of a very young person who's amazing. And yes, so we have people from Rising Tide, we have young new members about to be ratified, and maybe upcoming members. And 3 of them have committed to support Green Left today. So.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's great to see you all there in Cairns. The Red North.
Yeah.
The social movements and as well.
Yeah.
We're actually going to move on to another who's also tuning in from the far north Queensland, but who's been involved
a very young person.
And I'm sure along with many of these activists in Cairns. We're moving on to Hala Hilger, who is an activist from the Free Palestine Far North Queensland group. So I'll just give a second for Hala to tune in. Just take a second to load. So welcome Hala. How are you going? Good to see you, Hala.
Same here. Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us today. And as I mentioned, you're a big part of the Free Palestine Far North Queensland group. And I think one of the growing strengths of the Palestine movement in Australia in particular is how it's spreading into kind of regional and rural areas and smaller cities. And I think with the August 24 National Day of Action, all of the smaller towns and cities that are taking action is very inspiring to see. And Green Left has made an important point to try and cover all of these campaign groups, not just, you know, the big city campaigns. So could you tell us a bit about how you've the campaign's been going in Gilmoy Cairns?
Yes, thank you for inviting me. You're right, it's growing. Just to put this in context, from 2020 until 7th of October 2023, or what we call in Arabic Tawafan al-Aqsa, we had 3 actions for Palestine. However, from that date, from October 23 up till now, we had 56 actions. And that's definitely a jump, just like everywhere in Australia. Most of these actions take the form of vigils, but this number is also not counting what we call a fortnightly community meeting. At the beginning, it was more of engagement and discussions. Lately, it's about planning. As you may appreciate, Cairns is a tough environment. It's in far north Queensland, and we are a small group of people. If I like to talk about just the group a bit, in terms of the group, it's a very small, and that comes with advantages. I would say the advantages is we take decisions in a faster way, less conflict, and more connected. So I always say in solidarity, you meet the best of the people. And that has been my experience with solidarity movement. And I think this is more so in small communities because we connect more. And yet with the element of solidarity, the connections becomes really stronger, mateship, friendship, you name it. As you may also know, the disadvantages is the outreach. We cannot promote, we cannot mobilize as much as we would love to. And some of us will burn out more than others because the tasks fall on few of us. Also, I'm very fond of this group, Far North Queensland. It started 2 or 3, now we're many. And it's diverse, inclusive, open, and a lot of discussions happen. One of the big challenges that we all have in our group, and I think in other groups, is just to bring people together, because the diversity is not only in culture and background, the diversity is where you stand politically. And while some of us in the group are highly political, have been engaged in solidarity movement for quite a while, others are with us because they can't stand to see a child being killed. Both is correct, both is different. However, the challenge is that we meet halfway. But with that, we always have in mind that we need to educate ourselves and raise the bar. And because it's diverse, I think, and small group, we grow on each other's experiences. I can't say I'm an expert in the local politics of Australia, having lived in many different countries. However, I have my area of strength. Others do have this. So it's easier to work together. One experience I want to share that we were successful with is not to allow personalities and egos stop at the time of genocide. And I think it's very easy for people who cannot blend in just to leave, as unfortunate as it is, but it's not time to pamper. Or if you're an obstacle, I think take your time. If you're not willing to grow, you're not willing to blend, you're not willing to meet halfway, the movement itself will go. You've mentioned regional area. That's another thing. We reached out for the tablelands. We are in contact with our mates in Townsville. So it's all within the far north Queensland. The environment is different. The environment is difficult. The communities, including Muslims and Arab communities, are not engaged. Whether that's our fault or there's inhibit reasons, I don't know. And I think mobilizing has been so difficult. Building relations have been very difficult. For someone to join a vigil is a task on its own. So that's basically, however, it's the first time where I see things happening in Cairns, and things are happening more and more, and people are more open to discussions.
Yeah, I think that's been something very inspiring, is so many new people who never done this kind of thing before, gone to protests, gone to vigils, or helped organize them as well, have been and stepping up and doing that because of the urgency of the situation.
Yes, correct.
Great to hear your experiences from Cairns and from the Far North Queensland group, and we really appreciate you joining us today, Hala.
And thank you for the Green Left also newsletter. It has been like a light in my life when I came here to Cairns. Wasn't expecting this coming from more places that are more active like Geneva or working with the Honor White thing. When Jonathan walked in the university with the Green Left in his hand and I saw articles about Palestine, it has an enormous effect on me, and that was really a moment. Maybe you don't appreciate what a newspaper may do for someone, but I kept it on my office for maybe quite a few months because I was so happy to see that. So thank you as well, Isaac, and everyone for all your work.
Oh, well, yes, thank you so much. That's a great little story as well. Thanks, Hala. We'll move on to our next guest. Running a little bit behind, but that's okay. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Our next guest is a Greens member of the New South Wales Legislative Council, Abigail Boyd. She currently holds a range of portfolios, including workers' rights, energy, gendered violence, and disability rights, and has also written for Green Left on anti-protest laws and defending the right to protest in New South Wales. So welcome, Abigail.
Hello, very good to be here.
Yes, thanks so much for joining us. I just wanted to ask you a bit about this anti-protest rights stuff, because particularly in New South Wales, it's been a big kind of campaign at the moment with the crackdown. But we did see a big victory a few weeks ago with the Harbour Bridge march, where Labor government tried to shut it down. But at the end of the day, police were defeated in the Supreme Court, and the rally went ahead to great success, as people have seen.
In your face, Chris Mins.
Yeah. Ask you, what's the massive support for the rally within the community and the grassroots movement that's obviously been going on for almost 2 years now had in kind of forcing these protests to go ahead and winning the right to protest and from defending it from these attacks as well? What impact do you think that has?
Yeah, look, I think in the last probably about 4 years ago, we first started seeing some really big crackdowns from the coalition, but in lockstep with Labor on some fundamental human rights and democratic rights. And we quickly found that the Greens and I think we had Limited Friends, maybe the AJP were the only other ones to fight against those laws when they were coming through. But importantly, the media have really backed in these major parties when it comes to this really disgusting idea that we should only be allowed to protest in a certain place in a certain way and don't be too loud and certainly don't inconvenience anyone. And all of these politicians getting up and saying, but no, we defend the right to protest, just don't do it here. Just do it somewhere where it's not an inconvenience and not a real protest. So I think as people have, those laws started coming in, and we saw some really horrible arrests and awful things happen to small groups of protesters. But, this is the thing with people-powered movements. The more people you get on board, the more people you have, it's very hard to arrest everybody. And we saw that with the rising tide, amazing actions in Newcastle, stopping Coalport from operating there. And we saw it just recently on the Harbour Bridge. And I think, we have here a Labor government that's got quite used to the idea that it just does whatever the mainstream media tell it to do. And let's not forget that these anti-protest laws came about pretty much after, I think it was Ray Hadley on 2GB, asked both of the leaders at the time what they were going to do to protect business. So, we have in New South Wales this horrible tie-up between the major parties, the right-wing media, and they are so out of step now with what people want. Because people aren't corporations, and as Green Left knows really well, the 99% doesn't benefit from half the things that are going on that the government is supporting. So I think that people-powered movement that we saw on Harbour Bridge, I was you know, this is a pretty grim world we're living in. But I had moments of pure joy with looking at the, you know, what I think is more accurately estimated at between 200 and 300,000 people taking over the bridge and chanting, "Whose bridge? Our bridge." For something as vitally important as stopping a genocide and the starvation of children. It was a really big moment. And, you know, we had some Labor politicians who have long held the view that this was not a, you know, these laws are not a good idea, who have been kept in check by a very, you know, sort of business-led premier who were coming out and joining us on that march. So hopefully this is a bit of a turn. We've got a bill, my colleague Kobe Shetty has a bill in the lower house to try and overturn those protest laws. Hopefully we are now beginning to see that turn back away from this authoritarianism that we've seen in New South Wales and towards, you know, democracy and human rights.
Yeah, 100%. As you said, there's not much you can do, the police can do, or the government can do when 300,000 people turn up. I think you also outlined very well the kind of relationship between the kind of right-wing corporate media and these major parties. For what role do you see like independent kind of activist media like Green Left playing?
Yeah, I mean, independent people-led media is more important than it's ever been, and I think more under threat than it's ever been. We're taking a fight at the moment to the most powerful people, and the only way that they can keep a hold on politicians and the way that they can continue this sort of business as usual in the face of some of the most extreme crises and extremely, you know, sort of horrifying events that are happening in the world. The only way that they can keep a hold on politicians is by politicians caring more about what's said about them in the media than what people actually think on the ground. And I think independent media helps get the truth out. You know, if you are working as a journalist at one of these, you know, I really feel for them sometimes when they want to write a story, but they can't because it's going to upset their the corporate interests that back them, that pay for their advertising space. Then, you know, they can't write the whole truth. So what do we do about that when the media is so influential on public opinion? We have to support, you know, Green Left and other independent journalism that can actually take it to the big end of town. Now, as an environmentalist, but also a socialist, and as a human being, I really want to read about the truth, and I want to read, you know, journalists like you have at Green Left that are actually trying to tell a story that is quite uncomfortable for the big end of town, but needs to be told. So yeah, I'm a big supporter, have been for ages, and yeah, we need more independent journalism, and that means supporting where we can with finances, but otherwise in whatever way you can to make sure that we keep independent journalism alive in Australia.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Abigail. We really appreciate your time today and all your kind words as well. So, and keep up the good fight in Parliament to defend our protest rights and all the other things that you're standing for as well.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you do.
No worries. Thank you. So we're about halfway through the live stream now, where it's just gone past 5:05. So I'd like to give a bit of an update on how we're going with the supporter drive. So we've had quite a few people signing up throughout the live stream, and also we've had some people who signed up kind of in advance, knowing that it was coming up. So I think I don't have the exact total, but we've got a rough estimate of about 50 supporters signed up, which is incredible. And a huge thanks to all of those who have signed up for the Green Left supporter drive so far. And if you haven't done so yet, it's easy to do so. Head to greenleft.org.au/support, or give us a call on 1800 634 206, and we can sign you up over the phone as well. It's only plans start from just $5 a month for the digital edition, or $10 a month for the physical paper being delivered straight to your door. And I know I like to get the paper because you get the posters, you get to find out about the upcoming events, which is always very exciting. And I think I think a lot of people first come into contact with Green Left through the physical paper. You meet someone at a rally who a stall, Green Left stall, where the paper's being sold, or you know see it on a friend or family member's table, and you say, what's that? Never heard of Green Left or whatever, and you find out, oh, there is a newspaper that's reporting on these things. And then, but nowadays, probably a lot of people are also finding out about the paper through social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. That's kind of the place where people go for news nowadays. So there's a bit of both, but I always recommend if you get the physical edition, it's really good. And that's the $10 a month subscription. You can also subscribe for more if you just want to you know, give us more money and help the project keep going. That's also an option as well. But we've got a special offer actually on, I mentioned earlier, the Eco-Socialism Conference, which is taking place from September 5th to the 7th at Balam Balam Place in Brunswick in Naarm, Melbourne. So I'd highly recommend this conference, where there's going to be a lot of international guests from across the Asia Pacific, a lot of local activists and campaigners. You can find all the information at ecosocialism.org.au. But a special offer for people who sign up as a Green Left supporter during this live stream. You'll be sent essentially a discount code for your Eco-Socialism tickets. And you'll get a small percentage taken off your Eco-Socialism tickets. So if you're planning to go to the conference, you haven't got your tickets already, make sure you sign up as a Green Left supporter so you can get that special bonus discount as well. So our next guest is a musician, an activist, and a nurse educator. She's from the Chilean community, and she's also a member of Socialist Alliance. She's going to be telling us about a special raffle that Green Left is organising as a bit of a fundraiser. So welcome, Paula. Good to see you. Oh, you're just on mute there, Paula.
Yes, yeah, I didn't realize that. How are you? Thanks for inviting me. And I'm bringing really amazing news, exciting news. So I'm actually organizing together with a small committee of a finance committee of Green Left, a raffle, a great raffle with lots of prizes. And I just wanted to share my screen and show some of the prizes, and I'll talk through it. So hopefully you'll be interested and you can buy some tickets.
Yes, I know we're going to see some of these prizes soon, but I know some of these are really great prizes. So here it is coming up. Yeah.
I just want to move that, and I'm just gonna enlarge this. So basically, the raffle is, as I said, there's a lot of prizes. It's $10 per ticket. The details are in the bottom. Are you hearing some music or not?
We can't hear the music.
That's good. It's good. I don't want you to hear the music. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to put it a bit slower for myself. So in the information there, you can see that there's the BSP number, so the bank details. So you basically call Paula on 0402709028 to get your ticket numbers. You just tell me how many tickets you want. You can text me or you can call me. You deposit the money in the account, and then I will send you the ticket, the numbers. So some of the prices, I'm just gonna be showing you. We have gift vouchers. We have book gift vouchers. We have a gift voucher for Dan Murphy, and a lot of hampers.
Wow.
Amazing pictures as well. We have maybe more individual prices. That is beautiful. That's a painting done by a Palestinian person. It's in the raffle. We have some special gift packs, as you know, this is, Palestinian products.
Wow.
Another picture, another painting. Some products, eating products, breakfast products, cleaning products in the hampers.
And these hampers and these gifts have all been put together by community members and Green Left supporters who want to have put in to help this raffle and raise funds for Green Left. Is that right?
Correct.
Amazing. And we'll definitely make sure to put your contact number and the bank details.
Yeah, I got it later in another in one of the slides as well. So this is for sort of like breakfast, tea time or tea time. Some alcohol. That is the account in there. You can see there's payments to the Resistance Center. That's the account number.
And we'll put this.
Make sure you contact me for the numbers. Pardon, a second.
Amazing. I guess, Paula, as well, while I've got you here, I was just wanting to ask you, what kind of role has Green Left played in supporting the campaigns that you've been involved in over the years?
Basically, it's been amazing. We also Latin American and Latin American activists as well. Green Left has been amazing in supporting the solidarity to many countries. Chile, I'm from Chile. Green Left has been around for a while and it's been supporting many of our battles for justice for Central and South America, not just Chile, for El Salvador, for Guatemala, Bolivia, any struggles, Cuba, that we have had. Green Left has been with us. Just telling the truth, basically, it's transparent. It's one of the few media that is keeping transparency in the reports, and that's why I'm with Green Left,
Amazing. Thanks, Paula. And thanks for putting together this raffle, and people should definitely get a ticket. We'll put in obviously showing it up on the screen already, but we'll put the details in the live stream chat so that people can see that as well. Thanks for joining me and showing off all these incredible prizes. We'll go to our next guest.
And thank you very much. And I just want to finish stop sharing.
Oh yes.
And just hurry up, just get some tickets because we already sold over almost 70, 75, 80 tickets. So
being drawn.
And it's a very good chance of winning because there's a lot of prizes, as you can see.
Amazing. And I believe the prize is being drawn at the end of August. So.
Thank you.
So thanks so much, Paula, for joining me. I'll go to our next guest. So our next guest is a Green Left journalist who has been closely following a lot of campaigns and has been conducting some incredible interviews for Green Left, including a lot of interviews with Green Senator David Shoebridge and interviews about the voluntary assisted dying campaign and a whole bunch of others. So she's also writing a lot for Green Left on public housing, on mental health funding, legalize cannabis legislation and gambling reforms as well. So I'd like to welcome Suzanne James to the broadcast. Welcome, Suzanne. I think she's just joining. Welcome, Suzanne. Hang on, I think you're just on mute there. Forms as well. So I'd like to welcome. There we go. I can just hear myself in the background if you do. Maybe just mute your live stream connection if you've got that.
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome, Suzanne. How are you today?
Good, thank you, Isaac. Lovely to see you.
That's yes, they're good to see you too, and it's good to see those posters that you've got in your background there. The Green Left posters. I'd like to get from your perspective the story of how you got involved in writing for Green Left.
Well, I've been writing for Green Left since September 2020, so it's my 5th anniversary next month, Isaac. I first contacted Pip when we were in the throes of the Religious Freedom Bill argument. My partner Peter was a staunch supporter of Green Left and Grassroots magazine before that, and the Gordon Below Franklin protest before that. So he's very much part of the movement. He suggested that I should do a write-up on the Religious Freedom Bill. He said, Green Left would love your stuff, why don't you approach them? So I did, and I had a great chat with Pip Hinman, the editor, and next thing you know, I had my first article on the board for them called The Devil You Know, in defence of people's rights to have no religion. And it's always been a bugbear of mine. The church seems to think it's a God-given right to tell everyone else how to live. And 5 years later, she hasn't sacked me yet, Isaac.
And what's your kind of process with what topics you're covering for Green Left? You cover such a wide range of topics.
Well, I'm very fortunate in that I've got a paralegal background, and I've been writing corporately and paralegal and as a investigative researcher for many years in the corporate setting and various other public service roles. So it's a fairly generic set of skills, really, and there's so much to write about, Isaac. There's so much in the world that needs addressing in terms of equality and inclusion and people's right to medical autonomy and misogyny, and there's so many things that need to be covered. I've never suffered from writer's block. I've got the opposite problem. I've always got more material than I know what to do with. So past that, I think it's just a case of using my investigative skills to pull out what's relevant and what's not, and prove and disprove the different discourse that's going around, and put it all together for Pip to tear her hair out and somehow turn it into actual media.
Yeah, we really value all your contributions, Suzanne, and also thanks for joining us on this broadcast today. Really appreciated. But thanks for your time.
Look, it's a really good gig. It's a great place to have friends. It's a great way to work. I always joke with my friends that all I had to do to find 100% career satisfaction was quit corporate job and work for free for Green Left. So very inclusive, and they're always appreciative of everything you do. And if you can spare $5 a month, well, the price you pay for democracy is eternal vigilance against vested interests. And as everybody knows, capitalism's got its jackboot on the neck of humanity right now. So if you haven't got time to start a revolution, sign up for $5 or $10 a month and we'll do it for you. Go Green Left.
Yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, $5 or $10 a month, it's the price of a cup of coffee, it's the price of a beer, it's not too expensive, and it goes a long way to helping this project continue.
And good luck with the Eco-Socialism Conference, everybody. Sorry I can't make it, but I'll be there in spirit.
I'll point out to people, there'll be some of the sessions for Eco-Socialism will be broadcast live or available as a recording afterwards, but it's best if you want to see those live broadcasts, where they'll be for ticket holders. So make sure you get a ticket at ecosocialism.org.au. And I'll move along. Thanks, Suzanne. I'll move along to our next guest, who is our first kind of international guest for this broadcast today, who we've featured in Green Left recently as being interviewed, and also has writing some articles for Green Left over the years. So our next guest is Amar Ali Jan, who is a Pakistani historian, an activist, youth leader, and academic. He's the General Secretary of the Haqq-e-Khalq, or People's Rights Party in Pakistan, and a member of the Council of Advisors of the Progressive International. So welcome to the broadcast, Amar.
Great to be with you. All right, yeah.
So I just wanted to start off with what kind of role do you see Green Left playing as a international socialist in kind of building these connections between socialists and activists in different countries, in particular in Asia Pacific region and Global South?
A very, very crucial role, comrades. We in Pakistan, for a number of years, we've been getting news of third world struggles from outlets such as the Green Left Weekly. Also, I mean, if you look at the world today, the way global media has become a complete tool for ideological disorientation. Right now, it's not just lies, it's proper ideological disorientation. We have a corruption of words, particularly the horrific kind of reporting on Gaza that we've seen over the past 2 years. But even before that, we are old enough to remember the Afghan war, the Iraq war, the wars of aggression in Libya, Syria, Yemen, the sanctions regimes on a number of countries. There was absolutely no alternative point of view out there. So not only are you guys doing an excellent job at educating comrades in the Western world, in the Anglo world, but also for people like us here in Pakistan, it's a huge service because we don't have those large media apparatuses because of the certain conditions of the third world in which we can connect to other countries or other movements in the global south. For example, India and Pakistan, we are neighbors, but we don't have good communication with left activists. In fact, some of the best conversations we've had with comrades from India was actually in Australia at some of your conferences, through some of your outlets. And this is the kind of communication that those in power feel threatened by. And that is why these kinds of communication need to be celebrated, they need to be protected, they need to be sustained, they need to be supported. And I'm sure other comrades from other parts of the world can also testify to that, that with all our differences, we're sometimes so mired in our own regional kind of situations that we need these kinds of instruments that are more global in perspective, that connects social movements together. So I want to thank you for that solidarity. You've also raised voice for many in the third world when they've been in trouble because of repressive governments. For us as well in Pakistan, I know we Left Weekly gave a lot of solidarity when there was a state crackdown against us. So I want to thank you for that, because that also gives strength to comrades here in Pakistan and elsewhere, that we have our comrades, we have a media outlet who is looking out for us, who's willing to amplify our voices. And we hope to continue collaborating and supporting Green Left Weekly in whatever way we can.
Thanks, Amar. And just before this broadcast started, we actually had some pretty terrible news. You've one of the guests who we've been invited to the Eco-Socialism Conference, which I've been highlighting, which takes place in September, 5th to the 7th. And you've just had news from the Australian government that your visa has been rejected, which is pretty shameful.
Yeah, I mean, this it's the kind of world we live in. Last year when we applied, I think Eco-Socialism had me on a panel with Leila Khalid. So I think that gave them a lot of ideas of what I was planning to do, flying from Pakistan to Australia. And I have a number of friends in the Australian embassy actually here, and they've known me for a while. They meet me from time to time, asking me about my opinions on different things. And they said, you were flagged by some intelligence agency because of that conference, because of your position on Palestine. So they did not reject it last year. They just withheld the decision for over a year, saying further assessment. Well, this year I spoke to them. They said, well, withdraw that application and submit a new one. And I've shared the document with comrades. It's basically this random thing that they came up with. They think my financial situation is such that I would escape. And then I'll just basically go underground in Australia for years. That would have been interesting, because now, I do have an American visa. My wife is American, and we're choosing to live in Pakistan for all these years. So no government so far has ever refused this visa, but the times are changing so radically, particularly since Gaza. The situation has changed, and I'm assuming there will be costs for our visa applications to the US, to UK, and elsewhere. But all of this pales in the face of the kind of horror that people in Gaza are facing, for whom we are raising our voice. And many others have shown solidarity. Careers have been destroyed. People have been jailed. People have been boycotted. And that's a very, very small cost. So as much as I am sad to have missed that wonderful conference, because I've been to one of your conferences a few years ago, and I didn't go underground or overstay back then. And I loved being there, and I loved meeting comrades, and I learned so much from comrades there and from comrades all over the world over there. I do think that this is also a positive sign in some ways. It means that I'm doing something right, and it also means that you guys are doing something right. If the Australian government is flagging people for going to eco-socialism, they wouldn't have done it if this was just another academic conference or just another group of leftists meeting to discuss world affairs. You are active in the struggles that are taking place. You are giving practical solidarity to movements around the world. You are challenging the hegemonic narratives of the ruling elites. And that's why they're scared. And that's a good position to be in, keep the ruling classes afraid of.
So much, Amar, and we're going to do everything we can to fight that ruling from the Australian government about your visa. And so hopefully we can get you here, whether it's this year or the next conference or the next conference. We'll keep pushing because we'd love to hear your insights. And obviously we do everything we can to keep these channels of communication open between socialists here and socialists around the world. So thanks for your time today.
Lovely to be here, and full solidarity to all our comrades again for eco-socialism, for Green Left Weekly, and we look forward to our continued collaboration. Thank you.
Thanks, Emma. We now have our pre-recorded message that we're going to play from Senator Lydia Thorpe. Everyone knows Lydia Thorpe is, fighting the good fight and putting forward the very important things that we're trying to achieve, fighting against deaths in custody, standing up for Palestine and against the genocide, and just standing up for important causes, workers' rights, against climate destruction. Unfortunately, Lydia couldn't be here live today, but she has sent us a short message that we can play. I'll just give a brief apology for a bit of a technical issue at the very start of the clip, but it should clear up after that. So I believe we'll play that clip now.
Yeah, look, I support independent is one independent media that supports truth telling, supports First Peoples in this country, and tells the truth on the genocide in this country and abroad, particularly right now in Palestine. So independent media is what we need to get behind, and we've got to stop this mistruth that goes on and creates this division in our country. So get behind independent media. Thanks to Green Left.
Thank you to Lydia for that message of support for Green Left. It's very valuable and means a lot to us. And Lydia is also going to be speaking at the Eco-Socialism Conference that Green Left is organising in just over 2 weeks, or just about 3 weeks now. So our next guests are very special for Green Left because they are the Green Left editors who make all the important decisions. So we've got Green Left editor Pip Hinman, who is here with me in person, and our international editor, Susan Price, who is joining from the Gold Coast. And I'd also note it's also Susan's birthday. So happy birthday, Susan, and welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, thank you so much. That's lovely.
I guess I wanted to ask you both as the editors, what's your kind of perspective on how Green Left, the role that Green Left's played over the years, and how it's changed as well in the kind of current kind of context?
I'll go first, maybe. Susan, I can't even hear you. I'm going to have to share Isaac's. Anyway, look, Green Left started during the first Gulf War, actually, 1991. So actually, in many ways, there's a very similar crisis that is unfolding right now. You'll know that when wars happen, the system is in deep crisis. And a lot of people in these sort of periods of crisis go searching for alternative media. So actually, there's some parallels there because, we were new off the block in 1991 with our ecology and social justice banner. And people were looking around for independent alternative media. And now we're in, truth social land and fake media. And so, again, people are looking around for media that they can trust. And I think there's nothing more. You can trust media that's written for and supported by people who don't take corporate profits. They don't take any corporate donations and, who do it because we want to help build the movements.
I was going to ask as well, the name Green Left, a previous guest, Peter Boyle, pointed out the reasoning for it was bringing together the left movements and the climate green movements. But there's one confusion. Sometimes we get asked, is this the Greens paper? Susan, did you have any comments on like what that kind of clarification, that name issue means?
Well, I mean, first of all, I have to say it was great to hear Abigail Boyd on earlier as a Greens MP supporting Green Left. But yeah, I mean, I've been asked that many times when I've been selling Green Left at protests, whether it's the paper of the Greens. And I mean, it's interesting because Green Left was launched, I think, about a year before the Greens were actually came together as a party in Australia, as a national party, if you like. So we actually covered a lot of the debates that were occurring amongst grassroots Green Alliance groups, the sort of precursors, if you like, precursor activist groups to the Greens coming together as a political party. So, so it's sort of, it's no coincidence, I guess, that in terms of the timing, Green Left, as Peter said, was really a forum to try to engage, I suppose, the radicals within the environmental movement, but also to, I guess, put forward an analysis that, yes, we need organisation, but also that we need political parties that are democratic, that are activist based, that are open, broad, and inclusive. And so there were certainly a lot of very heated debates going on at the time within the pages of Green Left over, the direction for the Greens as a political formation, for example. But I think that, times have moved on, but I think Green Left has continued to seek out and actively engage with members of the Greens. And I think it's a real tribute to the project that we have Greens members like Abigail, but also others like David Shoebridge, who appear quite regularly quoted in Green Left, other members of the Greens who write for Green Left on a semi-regular basis. And so I think that's always going to be the case. And I guess my hope is that perhaps there's a more of a convergence today between the ideas of eco-socialism, which is basically what Green Left is founded on, and the deep roots into the ecological movement. And a lot of members in the Greens today who I think are drawing anti-capitalist conclusions and seeking to move that party more to the left. And certainly we've seen that tension. And that's also something that's been reflected in Green Left as well.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. I guess as a final question, as the editors, if people wanted to send you their articles or send you their copy, what would you recommend? How would they do that?
Oh, they can send it any which way, any media platform, any social media platform, and also to editor@greenleft.org.au. We welcome articles, news reports from anyone that's taking part in any protest activity, any call for change, any reform, any part of the struggle that a lot of people are involved in. And I guess we also try and involve more people that way. So these days in a digital world, everybody really has become, in many ways, a commentator. I guess what we'd also ask people to become also is, a fact checker, because I think it's important for those of us on the left that are involved to have accurate information and be able to plan next steps.
Yes, and any comments on that, Susan?
Well, we have a little contributors guide that's on our website, so you can have a look at that, give you some tips on the sorts of things that we're looking for. But yeah, I agree with Pip. I think activist, citizen journalism is it's a reality today, and so we want to reflect as much as possible that's going on out there in the social movements in the pages of Green Left. And I think just from the point of view of being the international editor, I think that's a really important role for Green Left, has actually been to network amongst many activists, including Amar Ali Jan, who was on just before, across the globe, you know, people who are writing for Green Left on a regular basis in diverse range of countries. It's fantastic.
Amazing. Well, thanks, Pip, and thanks, Susan, for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your birthday, Susan.
Thanks, and subscribe. Become a supporter today.
Yes.
Thanks, Isaac.
Thank you, Susan. And yes, as Susan said, you can become a supporter from as little as $5 a month or $10 a month for the physical edition by heading to greenleft.org.au/support. So definitely take the time either while you're watching this or when we finish up to do so. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a bit of a bonus discount code for Eco-Socialism 2025 tickets for people who sign up as well. So we're going to go to another one of our in-person gatherings. We're zooming away from Far North Queensland, where we were last, down into South Australia, where we're going to be talking to the gathering down there on Corner Yurta land in Adelaide. And I believe, hello, Markella. Thanks for joining us from Corner Yurta. How are you today? Australia, where we're going to be talking to the gathering down there on Corner Yurta land in Adelaide. Oh, sorry, Markella, you've just gone on mute there, and I can just hear myself in the background. So maybe just mute the your TV.
Oh, sorry, Isaac. I just had a bit of a delay. Thank you for the welcome. I'm here with comrades in Ghana Yurta branch. There's a group of us here, and really happy to be part of this Green Left Powering Rebellion live stream. Behind me here, I don't know if you can see it properly, but we have the 30 years of people-powered media.
Yes.
A poster. It's actually 35 years, so I think that's something that we can all be proud of. I've certainly been quite proud of some of the work that I've been lucky enough to be involved in with the Green Left. Some of the highlights have been when Chloe DS and I were able to interview Gary Foley on the 50th anniversary of the Aboriginal Kent Embassy. So one of the things that's really so important for me about Green Left is that it really builds bridges between people in the different activist movements, between unionists, between First Nation activists, between people doing trans activism, between all working class and oppressed peoples. And I think that's incredibly valuable. And even more so now with the situation with the genocide in Gaza and in Palestine, we see the targeted slaughter of journalists, most recently with Anas al-Sharif. And he actually, I just want to mention him here as a kind of tribute, you know, being a journalist, showing the truth. And, you know, he did make a comment in his last words, which were posted online, about the importance of building bridges for people as a way of liberation. So, yeah, I think Green Left is part of this global struggle, as Amar Ali Jan mentioned, a global struggle against the forces of imperialism and capitalism. And I think everyone here in Ghana Yurta is really happy that Green Left can be available here as well, online and in paper. And in fact, I'm really glad to say also we have a few newer writers here in Adelaide who have recently made contributions to Green Left. So I'm hoping that we can continue to build that here as well. So thanks so much, Isaac, and to everyone at Green Left.
Thanks, Markella. And yeah, Markella was part of the Green Left team here in Gadigal Country, Sydney, and is now, you know, making trouble down in Adelaide and building movements and eco-socialist campaigns down there. And is also a big part of the Unionists for Palestine and the National Tertiary Education Union and pushing for action on Palestine. So thank you so much for joining us, Markella. It's been and hello to everyone else who's here gathering there with you.
Thanks so much, Isaac.
Okay, well, just give another quick plug to become a Green Left supporter at greenleft.org.au/support. And I'll give a shout out. I think it's the biggest kind of chunk of the new supporters are coming out of NARM Melbourne. So a big shout out to that gathering there in the Resistance Centre in NARM, and to anyone who's also tuning in. And it's also a challenge if you're in another city, you want to boost up your numbers as well. So you can sign up and show them, Melbourne, NARM has this reputation as, the lefty city, but we can show them that that might not be the case. So keep on signing up if you haven't already. And if you've already signed up and you're thinking, well, what can I do? You can ask a friend or a family member to sign up, or you can do a gift, a supportership, or as well, you can also donate by heading to greenleft.org.au/donate, and any donations are obviously welcome. So now we've got our next interview is with a student activist. Grace Street is the General Secretary of the Student Representative Council, or SRC, at the University of Sydney, and is also a journalist with the student newspaper at USyd, the well-regarded student newspaper Honi Soir. So welcome, Grace.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me, Isaac. It's very cool to be here today. Just acknowledge at first that I am home on Gadigal land in the north of Sydney today, taking a break from uni. We've actually got our student journalism conference on this weekend, which I think ties in really nicely. There's a lot of young people that have gathered from around the continent at USyd this weekend. It's been put on by Honi Soir in collaboration with a lot of different other student medias like radio, newspapers, magazines. That's been really great to see, because it seems like so much of the time that print news and left-wing news is a thing of the past. But I think we can see with things like Honi Soir and Green Left that it's not the case. It's been really cool to hear from some older people in the movement today as well. I think I can definitely say that students and young people are equally invested in Green Left. And I think it is so important to have that activist media, which is on the ground and engaging with activists, which is essential to humanize our movement, but also get the word out. Like I know that Alex interviewed me last year when he was writing a piece about our USyd student general meeting and the university claiming that it was in the process of divesting from weapons companies and from Israel. And I think with that interview, it was obviously clear that that wasn't the case, that the university was doing that. But if you just gone through the university's media team, you would have heard a totally different story, of course. And I have another one of my friends who I think has written 2 articles for Green Left now about the student protests in Serbia, with some of her eyewitness accounts and some of those from her friends and some of their photos as well. So not only is it getting to the right people, getting the right stories out there, but also providing an outlet for young people to get into journalism and to translate their activism into something material, something that can be shared and seen for years to come, which I think is really special. And obviously Honi Soir is very close to my heart. It's something that I've been working hard to keep alive in the SRC this year, maybe trying to see if we can increase their stipends for next year, because they don't get very much for the work that they do. I guess that's another recurring theme here tonight about keeping left-wing and print media alive, especially as Markella was saying before, with the targeting of journalists in Gaza. It is something that is really close to our hearts and is so important to get that right narrative when there is genocide and enforced famine on people.
Yeah, it's very important, to mention all the journalists who have been killed in Gaza for reporting on the truth, and for challenging, as you said, the narrative that Israel's putting out there. And it's, I think Pip mentioned before about everyone becoming a journalist nowadays, because everyone has a phone and takes photos, and that's been really the case in Gaza, where a lot of these stories are getting out through not just journalists who are trained and experienced or anything, but just everyday people picking up a phone and reporting on what they're seeing in their lives. And that's making a huge difference for people like us who are watching on and trying to do what we can. I'd like to, student publications are essentially, they've always played this role as being the kind of radical activist media of the time, historically. And I was wondering if you had any, what role kind of has Honi played or other student publications in these historic campaigns? Like, for example, you said there was the Freedom Rides, and then how is it tied to to the current day, like there was a huge explosion with the Palestine Solidarity encampments at campuses, and I feel like there's been a kind of a renewed student activism in the time since. So yeah, just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one thing I can think of and things that I was directly involved with, just I guess that pops to mind first, was the publishing of some FOI findings that a friend and I were working on in terms of the university's investments. And we covered a lot of things that led on from articles back in 2022 and 2023 about their fossil fuel investments. But not even just things in weapons and Israel, but also gambling and all these other unethical things that you wouldn't really hear about otherwise, I don't think. And then speaking of the Freedom Round, I did actually do a little investigation into that this year in terms of how the university was commemorating it for its anniversary. And I think that reached a lot of people who didn't know that that was a kind of, I guess, twisted narrative. But I used ONI archives to try to look for those kind of things about universities, I guess, reception of the Freedom Ride at the time and how students felt about it then and what the precursors to that was. So looking at those archives and the coverage of the protests then from a student perspective and a left-wing perspective versus, I guess, the actual mainstream well-kept archives that tell a different story has been really integral to the work that we're doing now. And especially with our encampment, which was slandered so much last year. And like you were saying, like people's like Zionist lobby Twitter accounts just saying awful things, and when they're running with that narrative, there has to be something stronger against it, and that really gave us the platform to do that.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Grace. I'd love to keep chatting, but we're run out of time, and I've got a few people to chat to. But thank you so much for your time, and people should obviously check out Honey and check out what the students are up to. You see it at campuses across the country. It's very inspiring. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Isaac. Bye.
Okay, so we're going to another one of our in-person gatherings down in a workers' town, which is Geelong. So I'll give it a second for the Zoom to sign up there, but we're going to be talking to Sarah Hathaway, who's a social worker in the public sector and a community activist and a former Socialist Alliance councillor in Corio. So hello, Sarah, and hello to everyone at the Geelong gathering.
Hey, Isaac. It's from Geelong Trades Hall in Geelong on Coolin Country.
Ooh, look at that. That's a best venue at the Trades Hall there. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed the previous speakers and everything. I just wanted to hear about a bit of a flavour of some of the activities that you guys have been up to in Geelong today and over the last few weeks.
So glad you asked. It's been a really hectic Saturday here. We're glad we're still awake at 5:50 on a Saturday afternoon. But we had our monthly Big Green Left stall down at Beckley Market this morning. We've been out supporting IPAN for their weekly Palestine action. It was a pots and pans action for Palestine down at Geelong Waterfront. We've had another planning meeting with IPAN comrades for an upcoming function. We've had comrades come up to Melbourne and back today for a counter demo against the Fash and the TERFs up in Melbourne. And now we're here with all our comrades nationally to celebrate and support Green Left. And then we've got banner painting tomorrow. So very busy weekend.
It's a big weekend of activism, which is starting to feel like every weekend is like that. And we really appreciate you guys tuning in and calling in as well. I just wonder if anyone had any experiences distributing Green Left on the street. I think that's a really big part of Green Left is the stalls and talking to people on the street. So any stories or funny experiences that you've
Absolutely. So we are lucky to have Howard Smith. He's our number one Green Left street seller. Howard, best war story from selling Green Left on the street.
Well, the best thing is you make contact with people, you communicate, they see you, whether they buy the paper or not, you're being seen as an activist. You're not just there to make friends. So you get those who don't buy, and then you've got the regulars, but you're actually reminding people that you exist and they have to support you.
Nice one. Yes, very, very good. And anyone in Geelong who's listening to this who's not at the gathering, it sounds like you've missed out, but also
Missing out. Yep.
and anyone else selling Green Left around the place. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in, and yeah, we'll keen to see what else you get up to over the rest of the next few weeks.
Thanks, Isaac. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Next guest, Green Left exists as in a kind of in a network of radical publications and media projects, and one of these that we have a close relationship with is the 3CR Radical Radio in Melbourne, where we have a regular Green Left breakfast show. And so today we're joined by the current affairs coordinator on 3CR, which is Karina Ado Aguela. Welcome, Karina.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here.
I just wanted to get your take on why is it so important that we do have this radical independent media like 3CR and Green Left?
Oh, there's such a long answer to this, and I just started a little stopwatch, so I keep myself to time. I think we all know the story of further concentration of corporate control in media and government influence. And yeah, I mean, in our little corner of the airwaves at 3CR generally, we run a full week schedule of programs that I suppose on paper may not all get along, if that makes sense. And I think the real importance about grassroots media is to be able to accurately represent the patchwork of community voices as it stands in the community, which is something that the mainstream media is just absolutely failing to do. And further, I would say at the moment, making it seem like it's like a really fringe little group of lefties that feel a certain way. I think in particular, when we talk about radical or alternative media, it can be a really useful word, right, to distinguish from the mainstream. However, something that links both of the media that we make, whether that's written or radio format, is that it's simply just accurate reportage of widespread issues that affect the public. And both of us also have the link, I would say, of being accessible to the public to self-represent accurately and ethically in a media space. So I also just wanted to mention that this year we celebrate 10 years of affiliation with Green Left as an affiliate organisation of 3CR, which super proud of, absolutely love and champion, and just a really, crucial part of what we do every day to make the world a better place and to refocus all of our energies on, the greater cause with and between all of our communities.
Yes, incredible. Thanks so much, Karina. And people can go to 3cr.org.au to find out more about all the programs and to listen to the programs back. Especially if you're not in Melbourne, you can still listen. So that's great, and we'll make sure to put a link to that in the live stream chat. Thanks so much, Karina. We are getting close to our end time, so I'm going to move on to our next guests. I think we're going in person to another gathering all the way across the other side of the country. We're flying over to WA, which has been described by some as the mining Death Star of Australia, where all the big mining companies love to hang out. So we're going to be speaking to a few activists there who are gathered at the Boorloo Activist Centre. So we'll just give them a second to jump in. Hey you are. Hey Sam, how are you going? I think you're just on mute there, but
I am indeed. Here, I hope you can hear me now. We've got a watch party here at the Boorloo Activist Centre. It's been a really busy morning for us. We were part of a mass flyer distribution in the city this morning for the October 24 National Day of Action. And not only is there going to be an action happening here in Boorloo, Perth, but up and down the West Coast. So as far as we know, there are going to be demonstrations in Geraldton, Karratha, Albany, Bunbury, Manjimup, Denmark, Margaret River. I could have forgotten somewhere. Anyway, we've got a bit of a watch party happening here, and behind me, you might be able to see some of the activists painting a banner. It says "Sanction Israel from the river to the sea." And these activists include some who would be familiar to people who read Green Left or watch listen to the Green Left podcast or watch the video. So we've got Janet Parker, founder of Jews for Palestine. We've got the legendary climate activist, Patrina Harley, who's... for those that don't know, Patrina has been arrested for physically blocking the Borough pub more times than most of you have had hot dinners. We've also got recent Socialist Alliance federal election candidates, candidate for Fremantle, Josh Last, and our Senate candidate, Riley Breen over there. And another climate activist in Maz. So anyway, fantastic people who are all part of Green Left. And I guess the message that I wanted to put across is, I'm old enough to have been with Green Left from the very beginning, 1991, when the first, physical hard copy came out, when it was first and foremost an actual physical newspaper. Whereas now we talk of it as being a media project. And I think with the advent of the internet, there's actually no shortage of left commentary. You can go, you can, especially more kind of analytical opinion pieces, that sort of stuff. There's hundreds of good left-wing sites you can go to. But I think that's something that Green Left does, which no one else does, and that is that it really reports from the front line. And carries both the news and the debates of frontline activists. And you don't get that in many other places. I think that's a fantastic thing that Green Left does. And I know that there are two articles in the written format of Green Left written by two of the activists behind me right now. One by Patrina, just appeared recently, about her most recent court case where she pled climate emergency, so not guilty. Yes, I did the act, but not guilty because I was trying to avoid a greater danger. And then also on a related theme, our activist Maz here has got an article that some of you might have seen about the so-called post and boast legislation, where our state government, Labor state government here in Western Australia, is trying to bring in laws that would basically make it an offence to post something on social media that was an offence, if you take my meaning, and for it to be retrospective as well. So it's pretty frightening stuff. It really does speak to the fact that as our climate movements have been rising, as the movement for Palestine has been rising, they've responded with repression, and Green Left helps us respond and overcome that.
Yeah. I mean, it just does goes to show, if you're a Green Left supporter, you're in with some really good company. So thanks for tuning in, and looking forward to seeing that banner completed, because it's already looking good.
No worries. And thanks to you and all the Green Left production team. You help amplify our voices, and we love it.
See you in September.
See you at the conference.
See you at Eco-Socialism. Well, it's 6 o'clock, but we're just going to push it out a little bit to speak to a couple more people. So we're going to another one of our in-person gatherings up in Queensland. We're going to the Maganjan Brisbane gathering. So I'll just give a second for it to load in. But we've had a lot of supporters coming in today. So thanks to everyone who has signed up. And it's not too late. If you want to be part of the total tally, head to greenleft.org.au/support. And hello to Brisbane. How's it been going up in Queensland? Oh, I can't actually hear you. I'm not sure where the audio is. Doesn't look like it's muted, so there might be some other issue. I'll give it a second. Maybe try. Still not coming through, unfortunately. Maybe there's a mic issue, or a different mic needs to be plugged in or something like that. Oh, hang in there, and maybe we'll see if we can come back to you in a second. Well, hang on. I think I heard. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Thanks so much, comrade. So how's it been going at the gathering up in Brisbane?
It's been going good. We've got a few people in. I'll show around the room. Got Damien here with me. And we've got Kamala. Robin.
Hi, comrades.
Robin.
And new t-shirts ready for action.
Oh, they look great. Amazing. Well, and what is Green Left? Why do you think people should sign up as a Green Left supporter as we kind of close up this live stream tonight?
Well, I think Green Left is one of the leading activist newspapers in Australia. So I think it's definitely a newspaper worth signing up to if you're a leftist of any kind, whether you're an activist or not. I think it's a great news source for working class media in Australia.
Awesome. And I know that a few of you in the room are Green Left riders. Some are very experienced, some are newer. What's the experience been like of contributing to Green Left, and why is it important for people to do that as well?
Well, I'm a recent contributor myself. I've done a few articles recently, and I've done some photos as well. Specifically the casino strike recently, which saw hundreds of casino workers walk off the job on 2 occasions, defending their penalty rates, demanding better pay and working conditions and such. And also the Nakba rally as well in Brisbane, calling for our government to recognize the state of Palestine, to sanction Israel, and to stop our arms trade with Israel as well. And another important event we've covered, not me personally, Alex Bainbridge covered this one, but the teachers' strike last week, which saw 50,000 teachers walk off the job to demand better pay and better working conditions. So we've done a lot in Brisbane here recently, so I think it's a good reason to sign up to Green Left.
Yes, absolutely massive. And thanks so much for tuning in and speaking to us tonight, and being the lucky last that we speak to in terms of the in-person gatherings. I'm going to go to our final guest for the broadcast today. But before I do so, I'd just like to give a big thank you to everyone who has tuned into this and who has become a Green Left supporter, attended the in-person gatherings, and a huge thanks to all of our guests who have contributed. We've also got a few pre-recorded messages that we didn't end up getting to play, so that you'll see those on social media. But I'll give a final plug. Head to greenleft.org.au/support to become a supporter, and the plans start from just $5 a month or $10 a month for a physical edition. And you can also make a donation as well at greenleft.org.au/donate. So yes, a big thank you to everyone. And now we've got a very exciting kind of send-off for our live stream today. We are going to be hearing from award-winning singer-songwriter Les Thomas from Naarm, Melbourne. So welcome, Les.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here, and it's great to hear from everybody. And yeah, hello to all my friends and comrades.
Yes, thanks, Les. So we're going to be hearing your brand new song, The Firing Line, which is very exciting. But I guess before we do so, I'd like to hear about why you've decided to give us this kind of privilege of playing your song. Why do you support Green Left?
Green Left has a special place in my heart. My first memory of seeing the paper on the street was back in 1992. When the first demonstrations were happening against the Kennett government here in Victoria. He was like our version of Joh Bjelke-Petersen, for those of you who may not have a memory that goes back that far. But yeah, Green Left have always been on the front line, the coalface, representing the workers' struggle, and I think preserving, really importantly, the underwritten history of our people's movements. So that's why I support and love Green Left and encourage everybody to get behind it.
Yes, thanks so much, Les. And before we play your video, you've got an upcoming launch coming up. Could you tell us about that?
I certainly do. So some people might have heard we've had a bit of drama that our first venue tried to cancel this single launch and fundraiser down in Melbourne, but we found a welcoming stage at the Curtin Hotel opposite Trades Hall in Carlton on Sunday the 31st of August at 3 p.m. So yeah, I encourage everybody who can make it down here in Naarm to grab a ticket and join us. It's going to be a great afternoon, and I'll be joined by the wonderful Kavisha Matsala.
Make sure that is on the Green Left calendar. Something I should have highlighted earlier in this broadcast is if you're looking for any activist events, head to greenleft.org.au/events. We've got a calendar of upcoming rallies, protests, performances like yourself, like the one you've just told us about, and conferences and things like that are all available on that calendar. And if there's anything that you're organizing that you want to make sure is included in the calendar, you can also submit your own events as well. So we'll finish up the broadcast with this song. So thank you very much to Les for allowing us to play this, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Final plug, head to greenleft.org.au/support. Become a supporter, join all these incredible people that we've spoken to today in supporting activist media. And it makes a huge difference to allowing us to continue to do things like this, talk to these incredible people, and put out our regular articles, podcasts, videos, and more. So thanks to Les and thanks to everyone else. And let's play this video now. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Out there on the firing line, see the faces left behind. Hiroshima by the day, torn and scattered where they lay on the firing line. Never again is what they said. Now I wonder what they meant. Did they speak for all of us? Lives unequal, gold or dust on the firing line. Pressure cooker, open jail, trigger fingers sure to fail in the incubation room, born into a world of doom on the firing line. There's no reason, no excuse, and no accepting their abuse. No time for complicity, but they've every reason to be free on the firing line. Justice turns to you. What will you tell your own child? What's left of the meek and mild on the firing line? Don't be silent, please be brave. Still have so much to say, bound in grief we carry on. Makes no difference where you're from on the firing line.
I'm back. Thanks to Les for that music video that we've just played. We've got a few more messages that we just wanted to play before we finish up. So if you're still around, we've got a great video interview that we did with Tom Ballard just a couple of days prior to this, who couldn't unfortunately be live, but we're going to play that now. I'll just mention we've had heaps of new supporters signing up throughout this live stream, but the Green Left supporter drive does not end today. We're going to keep going with the supporter drive until early September, the Eco-Socialism Conference. So still a chance to reach out to your friends and family or other activists you're working with who may be interested in signing up by heading to greenleft.org.au/support or calling the free call number 1-800-634-206. So now we're going to play a short clip with comedian Tom Ballard. So let's play that clip now. So now I'm going to be joined by one of Australia's funniest comedians who also happens to be a big lefty. And he's also the host of the Serious Danger podcast. Welcome, Tom Ballard.
Hello, Isaac. Hello, comrades. I am the funniest comedian and the most correct as well. Please make that clear.
Where I wanted to start was to think about, when we look around the world at the moment, it all seems a bit depressing and a bit dark. We've got
what's going on? What's happening? I don't read the news. Sorry.
Well, we've got Trump in power is a scary thing to start with.
I did hear about that. Yeah, I did hear about that.
I just wanted to ask you: are we doomed?
This is it. The definitive statement on that. I mean, no, I'm not a doomerist. I'm not an accelerationist. I'm sure lots of people watching this and yourself, it's very easy. Yeah. If you read the news enough and you're a left-wing person and you see the state of the world, it's very easy to subscribe to that view. It's very easy to feel like that sometimes. And hey, I don't know, maybe they're right. Maybe the cynics and the folks who do think it's all over and we're headed for oblivion are correct. I don't know. I just don't think that's any way to live. And the thing that gives me hope, the thing that makes me think that's not the case is to, a brief scanning of human history, littered as it is with tragedy and horror, is also, filled with human beings being decent and coming together and winning, and every now and again justice prevailing. And I'm still, and tell me if this is naive, I'm still rooted in the belief that most people are all right, most people are decent, most people want good things for themselves, their neighbours, and the planet. And yes, I have a perhaps naive belief that will see us through. It is at least possible. It's one thing to say whether or not it's going to happen, whether the future is going to be brighter. I believe it is possible to have a better future. I certainly think that's true. Whether or not we grab that, whether or not we can organise and fight enough in order that can guarantee that is perhaps an open question. There you go. Does that make everyone feel better? I don't know.
No, that's great. I think you're on the right track. And especially as we're talking, we've just come off of this massive rally in Sydney for Palestine across the Harbour Bridge, where there was up to 300,000 people, which feels like a big historic moment. So
I heard it was 6 million, actually. So let's just go
6 million, 8 million, something like that.
Man, just before we recorded this, I watched a clip of Sharry Markson on Sky News saying, hey, just because there's 100,000 people there doesn't mean they're right. The Nuremberg rallies attracted 700,000 people. And you're like, just when you think Sky News is going to get any crazier, they come out with shit like that. So, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know we had to compare numbers with the Nuremberg rallies. If we can overtake those.
You idiot, Sharry Markson. I'm sure she's not watching the stream, but if you're watching the Sharry Markson, you're an idiot.
Well, hopefully this will attract some, Daily Mail article. Comedian Tom Ballard calls Sharry Markson an idiot on Green Left woke live stream.
Slammed. Yeah.
We were both at the Rising Tide People's Blockade of the world's largest coal port last year, which was another big inspiring event. And I remember you were hosting a panel with some Greens MPs, and you saying something along the lines of, we're all working together to build this movement. Some of us are in Parliament, some of us are locking on and blocking coal ships, and some of us are hosting a podcast. So yes, I just wanted
all
your
of us
comments.
Are heroes, and all of us deserve the same amount of credit. Yeah, that's my position.
I just wanted your thoughts on what role does alternative radical lefty media, including podcasts, have in actually helping build these movements?
Well, a massive role, which of course I would say, being on this stream and being a co-host of a podcast called Serious Danger, which people should check out, which is myself and Emerald Moon talking about green politics in Australia. We're both Green members. We're pretty. I don't want to say we're partisan because sometimes we critique the party, and it's about the politics first, and then also looking at things through the prism of what the Australian Greens are doing. But yes, look, we're small. The audiences, broadly speaking, for some of these outlets are small, but they're very dedicated. And, you know, just from an anecdotal point of view, the number of people that contact us for our podcast and for our output and through our Patreon and say, well, this is the show that made me sign up and volunteer. This is the show that made me start door knocking. This is such a relief to hear two people remind me that I'm not crazy watching Australian political news and saying this is dog shit and there has to be an alternative view. We've certainly changed a lot of people's perceptions about the Australian Greens. And man, monitoring the Australian media to like look at stories about the Australian Greens over a number of years, I'm like, oh my God, this we have a media establishment that is totally hostile to the project of left-wing working class politics. They will omit important information. They will undermine the Greens at every possible opportunity. They will dismiss them. Yes, that's been a big lesson. And the case for an alternative, independent left-wing media has never been stronger. You know, we've got a long way to go in Australia, I think. But if you look at the example of Novara Media in the UK, I mean, I think they've built a massive, serious media outlet there that platforms, that is taken really seriously, that has serious intellectual debate, that has absolutely played a role in radicalizing people and legitimizing the left in the UK in the good times and the bad, you know, initially organising around the Corbyn moment and then in a post-Corbyn Labor Party exposing Keir Starmer's Labor Party for the spineless neoliberal arseholes that they are. So anyway, that's the example to me. The Novara is like sort of the golden light as to how good it could be and how it could probably be done. I think a greater coordination between the left-wing media outlets across Australia could definitely be worthwhile, and something that we should all certainly consider, because it does feel like, there's a lot of shared ground there and we could be working together a little bit more. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, definitely. 100% think, you know, we've got, you know, Serious Danger and Green Left combining right now. So that's,
here we are. Yes.
That's a first step.
Job done. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to move it on to our next speakers who are coming in now. So thanks so much for joining me, Tom. I guess, how can people listen to Serious Danger and find out about your upcoming gigs and things like that?
Oh, gosh. Yes. Well, Serious Danger is on YouTube. We're on TikTok, all the places. SeriousDangerPod.com, or if you just have a quick Google search, you'll see us there. We do free episodes every single week as a podcast, and if you sign up as a Patreon, you get bonus content every fortnight. And yes, would love anyone in the Green Left Weekly world to check us out and see what you like. Maybe we'll be Reformist scum to the hippies listening to Green Left Weekly, but anyway, would love to hear what you think of the show. And I'm on social media too at Tom C. Ballard. I'm touring. I'm doing a show at the Melbourne Fringe coming up. That'll be on sale soon. But I don't know, don't give me money. Give money to Palestine and the left and good unions, and continue with the revolution, please. Thank you.
That short interview. Thanks to Tom for that short interview. We've got a couple more pre-recorded clips that we wanted to play before we finish up here. So thanks to everyone who's still tuning in. Our next clip is from Associate Professor Jake Lynch, who lectures at the University of Sydney. And he spent the past 2 decades researching, developing, teaching and training in peace journalism. And he recently also worked as a journalist for the BBC, The Independent and other publications. So let's play this pre-recorded message from Jake Lynch.
I'm Jake Lynch. I'm Associate Professor of Peace and Conflict Studies at the University of Sydney, and I've had a long commitment to the cause of Palestinian rights and justice. I fought a case at Australia's federal court to uphold my right to implement the academic boycott of Israel. So, of course, I've been aghast at the atrocities and the genocide that have been unfolding in Gaza over the past couple of years. And one of the many sources of unease here in Australia has been the role played by mainstream commercial and corporate media in really what's amounted to genocide denial, that they have stuck rigidly to their usual patterns of sourcing and reporting of these kind of stories, whereby they sedulously accept the assumptions, justifications, and the terminology of the leaders of the two parties contesting government, Labour and the Coalition. Of course, unfortunately, for many years, they've stuck together. They've been in lockstep, really, in their attitude towards Palestine, and they have combined to keep out the word genocide for as long as they possibly could, partly because that would confer obligations on Australia as a signatory to the Genocide Convention to prevent and punish genocide. Now, in that context, the reporting of Green Left has been an absolute godsend. It's been a beacon of light. It's been a fearless purveyor of truth to the Australian people. It really has upheld the ideal of journalism as reporting without fear or favour, calling things as they are, not being intimidated out of telling the truth just because that's inexpedient to powerful vested interests. So really, Green Left has rendered a great service to the Australian people throughout this extremely upsetting and tragic and outrageous episode that we've seen unfolding, ironically, in front of the world's cameras. And of course, the appalling death toll among journalists in Gaza testifies to the importance of media coverage and the ventilation of these issues in the public sphere. That is inexorably linked with the mounting public pressure on countries like Australia that have really been deeply complicit in the occupation, the apartheid system, and now, of course, the genocide itself. And Green Left really has been at the cutting edge of that phenomenon. So on that, if no other basis, I can heartily commend it to the progressive Australian majority to give full-hearted backing and support to Green Left.
To Jake Lynch for that pre-recorded message. Our next message that we're going to record is from journalist Paul Gregoire, who writes for Sydney Criminal Lawyers, and his message talks about how exciting it was when he first was published in Green Left back in the 90s, and has had a long relationship with Green Left since then. So we'll play this message of support from Paul Gregoire now.
Hi Green Left, I'm sorry I can't be at your forum today. I'm also quite sorry that I missed the Harbour Bridge walk the other week, but since I can't be there, Isaac asked if I could send a message and say why the Green Left is important, alternative media is important, and also why I write for the Green Left. And I have to say that the first time I was published in the Green Left, I was quite chuffed, because me and my friends around the late 90s and early thousands really got into the Green Left because it was the only place that's sort of alternative media information in inner city Sydney at the time, because that was before the internet was everywhere. And so but these days, with the internet being everywhere, there's a lot more places for the alternative media. The alternative media has grown, and that's a good thing for Green Left as well, because basically there's a big job these days for the alternative media, because the mainstream media has become increasingly just a voice box that repeats the official media reports of an ever increasingly authoritarian government. And ever since the Gaza Strip, the genocide in the Gaza Strip began, everything has gone to shit in the mainstream media, and the alternative media is the only place where you can source the truth. So I hope your forum goes well, and up the alternative media.
Thanks, Paul, for that message of support. Our next message is from Dr. Aisha Jahangir, who is a lecturer in journalism at the University of New South Wales and a Peace Fellow at the International Association of Media and Communications Research. She's also the author of Afghan Refugees, Pakistani Media and the State, The Missing Piece, where she drew on her experience as a journalist in Pakistan and Afghanistan. So we'll play that message from Dr. Aisha now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Aisha Jahangir, a journalism academic at the University of New South Wales. In a world where press freedom is under attack, and the right to know and the right to speak truth has never been more important. But the media we rely on is increasingly controlled by a handful of billionaires, whose interests shape what stories are told, but also which voices are silenced. This monopolization of information, as we can see, is creating a dangerous imbalance, one where narratives serve the powerful while the oppressed are pushed to the margins. This is where alternative media steps in. Platforms such as Green Left Weekly in Australia breaks through the noise. They don't answer to corporate shareholders or political donors. They answer to the people. They shine a light on injustice, amplify the voices of those who have been silenced by the mainstream news outlets, and tell the stories that matter, from workers fighting for their fair wages, to Indigenous people and communities resisting land grabs, to global struggles against war, racism, and climate destruction. Green Left Weekly gives a platform to those the billionaires would rather you never hear from. It's not just reporting, it's solidarity in action. But independent media, like the Green Left Weekly, can only survive with public support. If you believe in a world where journalism and storytelling serves justice, not profit, where the oppressed and the marginalized are given an opportunity to voice, then be part of that change. Join Green Left Weekly, support it, share it, become a member. Because a free, independent press is worth fighting for.
Our final message of support is from Zach Schofield, who is an organiser with Rising Tide in Sydney and was a big part in building the People's Blockade of the world's largest coal port in Mooloolaba, Newcastle. Unfortunately, Zach couldn't be here live because there's a Rising Tide action camp on this weekend, but here's a short message that he sent beforehand.
Well, g'day folks, my name's Zach. I'm an organiser with Rising Tide. And look, it's a real privilege to be here on the Green Left Weekly supporters live stream. Green Left Weekly fulfills an amazing and important role in the movement ecosystem, along with many other progressive newspapers and journals. And that is telling the stories that need to be told, right? Their coverage of our blockades, in both 2023 and 24 was phenomenal. And I know it's the same for many events across this continent. But it's not just about telling the stories, it's about having a progressive and strategic analysis of, what our movements are doing and how they interrelate. Because we're facing a poly crisis, right? The climate crisis is going to exacerbate all of the tensions and conflicts and contradictions that exist within our society, of which there are many. And as that situation continues to unfold, we need writers and critics who can strategically analyze, how our movements are interrelating and how they can better develop the power and the agency with each other to fight for justice and to try and make sure the world that we inherit is not one of barbarity, but one of justice. So do give your support to Green Left Weekly. Again, they fulfill a critical role in the ecosystem, and they're all lovely people. So yeah, it's been a privilege to be here, and hope the rest of the live stream goes well. See you on the streets or on the water or across the next bridge. Take care.
That brings us to the end of this Powering Rebellion Green Left live stream. We've had a huge uptake in supporters over the past 2.5 hours. So thank you to everyone who's signed up. It makes a massive difference to allow Green Left to continue doing the work that we do. And it's still not too late to sign up if you haven't already. Head to greenleft.org.au/support. And ask your friends and family to sign up as well. It's the only way that we can survive without this, without corporate media funding and advertising, is by people power and your support. And I hope you've enjoyed hearing from all of the special guests, activists, campaigners, unionists who have contributed today. And there's a whole range of people who we would have loved to hear from who couldn't make it or didn't have time. So there's a whole lot of room for more events like this in the future. But thanks for tuning in, and thanks to everyone who's participated in the live chat on YouTube as well. I haven't been able to watch that myself on camera here, but it looks like there's a lot of interesting discussion going on and some great supportive messages. And thanks to all the Green Left team who helped keep this going behind the scenes as well. It's been a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.